almost anywhere in Calgary's music scene, and you're liable to find Eric Friedenberg, a versatile performer whose talents extend in nearly every direction. As he keeps those musical contributions pouring in, life for Calgary's jazz man moves at an extraordinary tempo. He's built a dynamic 25-year career in music, and it seems he's only just begun. At 45, Eric Friedenberg has already turned his considerable talent and energy to an impressive medley of accomplishments, scoring themes for television, writing commercial jingles, coordinating the studio music program at Mount Royal College, as well as teaching as a sessional instructor at the University of Calgary. Whether he's conducting a large orchestra, writing, or performing, Eric is the leader of the band. And what's more, he makes it look easy. Can he remember a time when he wasn't involved in music?
No, I really can't. I really fell in love with it very early and very young, and I've always played. I started off with the Lions Club Boys and Girls Band here in Calgary, and we played football games down in Mawata Stadium. And we'd sit right on the bench next to the players. These are the old days, and this is really...
Well, you're a very old person.
That's right. And this was really basic music business and basic football, and it was a great upbringing because I fell in love with two things at the same time. But this was back when I remember Woody Strode and Sugarfoot Anderson and all those people, because I was about 8 years old at that time. We played in the band. You
played in a band when you were 8?
Well, in a boys and girls band.
When did
they give you a cape and a hat and a clarinet, and they send you down to Mawata Stadium and played the football games.
Well, when did you start to study music then, if you were playing
About then. Oh, I was, about grade 3 or 4. I would start taking lessons.
Did you start with the flute?
No, I started on the clarinet.
Really?
And I played that for years. Actually, the flute was the last thing I did.
So the saxophone preceded the...
Yeah, I played the clarinet, and I played the saxophone because I could play dance jobs and things like that. And so I got into that, and then I learned the flute after that.
You ever want to play the tuba or something
no,
exotic?
I think I'll leave that.
Leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Did you ever want to play what is known as serious music or classical music?
Oh, sure. I play that a lot. Yeah. I don't have any trouble with categorizing music. It's like they say, it's either good or bad, and I love playing classical music or jazz music or commercial music, MOR music, or I even like some country and western, as long as it's good. Although I can't play it, we don't play country and western on a saxophone too much,
But sure. But you didn't ever have a desire to make a career of classical music, to be a soloist with a philharmonic orchestra?
No, I've always admired the discipline, and I often practice that repertoire because of the discipline it gives you. But no, I don't feel my music expression is best served that way. Mm.
What do you think about the musical climate in Calgary?
It's excellent. It's frustrating at times because of the outlet. But there's wonderful players around. There's good players, pardon, there's good players here as there is anywhere. And the climate is very good. There's some great players, and you can really play with wonderful people.
Has music been good to you?
Yeah, it's been great. It really has. I hope I've been good to it. But no, it's been terrific. It's a wonderful way to make a living. It's if you really like what you do, it's not work. I'm sure you find that too.
But you must work exceptionally hard because you're working in music, but in so many different areas.
That's why living in Calgary, you have to, and I think it's part of the charm. I don't know if charm is the right word. I guess it is. Here you can work in so many things. If you lived in Toronto or a bigger city, you'd be pigeonholed, or you'd have to be a specialist in an area, either as a writer or as a player or as an educator or whatever. But in a center like Calgary, you can do a variety of things, which is lots of fun to do, and plus you have to do it to survive in the business. 1, 2, 3.
For at least part of the time, the music hall becomes a classroom, and the maestro becomes an instructor. Teaching helps sharpen his own ability, he says, but how does Eric manage to fit it into such a busy schedule?
Well, sometimes it's hard because of the schedule that we're on, that sometimes you have to bounce things back and forth. It kind of looks after itself. I think if you know what you're doing, and if you can get, the kids that I'm involved in at the college and the university are serious about it. they're daytime people. They're doing it in the daytime. They're committed to doing what they want to do. And it's not like teaching somebody over a supper hour that their mom is making them take clarinet lessons. So it's completely different. You're having committed people that are really into it. So that's easy from that point of view, and you really get involved with them. And teaching is a very selfish thing, too, because you get so much out of it. By teaching, you're constantly reminding yourself of the basics, things that you have to do, and it's great. So I don't mind it, or I don't find it confusing at all from that point of view.
You must be a very organized, disciplined person. Are you an organized?
My wife is organized. She just points me where I have to go. Well, the business is such that it either, there's so much you can't handle it, or you're panicked because you don't know when you're going to eat next. And it's always, and I think it'll always be that way. Things always happen at the last minute. This last show that we did with Frank Mills, a Christmas show, I didn't receive the overture and the opening number until, in Calgary here, till Saturday, and we recorded it. I was in Vancouver Monday night with it. And there was just no idea what we were going to do for an overture in the opening tune. Because Alan Thicke hadn't got the lyrics to Frank, and Frank hadn't written the music and gotten it to me yet. And that's the way it goes. There's just never weeks ahead to sit back and reflect on something. It's panic time.
But it doesn't throw you into a panic.
Yeah, it does, but that's the way you work. I think that, and then you don't waste any time.
But you seem so calm and so relaxed, and I've seen you, I've watched you backstage at shows and so on. You don't ever seem to get terribly hassled or uptight.
I don't think I do anymore. I'm always anxious that things go well, and I'm always keen, and I hope. Because if you ever lost that, you'd really be in deep trouble. But I don't really get too panicked.
Well, it's a pace that could make some of us want to reconsider. Yet Eric segues smoothly from teaching to a number of other pursuits. One of his favorites is hosting a radio jazz show Sunday nights on Music 96. Offstage and behind the mic, Eric can present music in a more relaxing medium. Once again, it's just a question of when.
I usually do that when I come home from work at nights. The station kindly has given me a real good tape machine, a professional tape machine, and a setup here that I can use at the house. So I do the pre-taping here, and they produce it at the station for me. You know, the next pass, I'd like to, can we get some of the soprano just a little wetter? Yeah.
One of the most challenging aspects of the business is composing music, blending inspiration and technical know-how to create a new sound. Eric explains how he came up with just the right sound for our theme on FYI.
Well, Brian Vos asked me to write the theme, and we got together, and he had some ideas about how the musical thrust should be, and I had a few, and we put it together and recorded it here in Calgary.
But where does it come from? I mean, where?
Well, it's you have to take in a lot of things. If it's a news show, it has to be up and exciting, and I try to get kind of a telegraphic da 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 kind of thing, singing wires and newsy type things, and of course Brian told me about what the graphics were going to be. So you marry hopefully the music along with the graphics, and then it kind of makes itself. After you know what you have to do, it forms itself really.
It writes itself.
Yeah, it does, really, after you know what you have to do.
Do you like writing?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Do you do commercials and that sort of thing?
Usually it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's a staring contest with the paper, but usually it's a lot of fun. The main thing is if you understand what the general overall concept of it has to be, then you say, well, it's going to sound like, or it's going to be like this, then it's easy. Mm. But if you don't have an overall concept, it's a staring contest, and that's awful.
There's no hesitation when it comes to performing, though. Eric and the Saturday Pro Band get their licks in Saturday afternoons when the Palliser Hotel swings to the sound of big band. Judging by the audience, big band is making a comeback, Friedenberg style.
It's great fun because we play the Saturday Pro Band in the winter season, which is basically from September to May, plays every Saturday, which is really unique to have 20 guys employed for 3 hours once a week playing big band jazz. It's great.
Is that your favorite venue or
no?
music expression?
It's just like the old expression, you love the girl you're with. Whatever I'm doing at the time, I really totally enjoy it. If I'm writing a real commercial chart for a singer or playing esoteric big band jazz, whatever at the time. And I think that's really why I'm so lucky, is be able to get involved with so many different things that you can keep interested and still have fun at it.
There's been this ongoing argument in Calgary, in Canada, around the world, as a matter of fact, that jazz is dead. Jazz is no more. Then a couple of years later, there's jazz again. I mean, what has happened? Has it ever really been dead?
No, it's never gone away. It goes through periods where it's not very accessible to people. And I think it has to. It goes through growth periods where they're struggling to stretch the barriers and get new things happening in jazz. And in any art form, you have to have that. It has to live and to grow. And unfortunately, I think during some of those periods, it loses the mass people that it appeals to. Then it kind of settles down, and once again, it becomes accessible, and everybody has a good time playing jazz. And I think right now, jazz is healthier than it's ever been, because we have people such as Bob James and Miles Davis who are playing kind of people music again, rather than just esoteric inside music. You know.
Eric's love of music was nurtured in childhood. His father, a musician and band leader, encouraged and helped develop his son's growing interest in music. For the young man, it was a short step from playing for fun to playing for a living.
I was able to play in his band at an early age and make the extra money. And of course, he was the major influence, sure.
Did he teach you?
Well, we tried formal lessons, I remember as a kid, which did not take at all. But he taught me, of course, on the bandstand in professional situations, you know, where I'd die many times, and he dragged me through it. And I think music is an apprentice art, and you have to go through it, and you have to learn it on the streets, as it were, and to really get into it.
Well, you have two little apprentice artists, musicians in the family, one playing flute, one playing
with the piano. Yeah.
Is Daddy teaching?
No, that would not work out.
Have you tried?
Yeah, I have no patience with him, because I think when it's like teaching your wife to drive, it would be disaster.
You mentioned your wife earlier and mentioned that she is the disciplined organizer in the family. Is she one of those musicians' wives who has always spent New Year's Eve alone and all the sort of special occasions alone?
Absolutely. Yeah, the social life is awful. It's zilch, because I'm always out at night. Or if I'm at home, I'm working on something. So it's tough. It is not a good social life from that point of view. But there's other rewards. There's the mornings and there's lunches. So we try to take advantage of that.
Any goals that you still haven't achieved, things that you still look forward to doing?
Yeah, you bet.
Like what?
I want to learn to fly a glider, but that's non-musical. I've really starting to realize a lot more. I've always wanted to conduct a symphony, in which we have with Frank, though I haven't conducted a symphony piece, but and be able to write for a large orchestra and to write for large television shows, which has been great. And no, I just hope to continue things like in that vein. It's lots of fun.
For Eric Friedenberg, the beat goes on, and nowhere more enjoyably than in CFCN Television's upcoming Pro Band Presents series, a musical journey taking us from the war years of the big band swing to present-day rock. Host Eric Friedenberg and the Pro Band bring their unique, high-gloss style to such diverse sounds as big band country, television themes, and big band vocal. And they're joined each night by well-known guest singers to round out the musical fare. It's a week packed with entertainment for the entire family. So join us for the Pro Band Presents with host Eric Friedenberg. That's December 24th through 28th from 7 to 7:30 each night on Channel 4, Cable 5.